The Tennessee Titans win. The Tennessee Titans actually score 30 points. Josiah and I are going to break it all down for you right now. Welcome in to another Titan Bros video. I am joined today, as always, by my brother, because another brother of ours named Titus doesn't usually make himself available for us when we go live, so I'm always stuck with Josiah.
How's it going, sir?
It's going. So we just had an argument before we went live. So he might be a little cranky because I think I won the
That has
argument.
nothing to do with the argument.
Okay, so you're cranky for other reasons that nobody, including myself, care about. All right.
Exactly.
So that being said, let's go ahead and hop on in. We're a couple days late. I'm fully aware, but it was Monday night. I had to work the next day. So did you. So you were asleep just as soon as that last snap was called.
I fell asleep a couple times during the game. You must know my wife had to wake me up.
That's nice. Hopefully she relayed the message of everything that went on. But yeah, so there was that, and then he gets up early for his job, and I don't stay up super late. But by the time I'm getting off and getting out of the shower and everything, he's usually asleep. So we just had no opportunity to ever actually make our recap video. But all that's over with. We're here. We're good. We're gonna knock this one out. Titans versus Dolphins. We both predicted a win, right? Did you predict we win?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember what your score was. Mine was 16-10, I think is what I ended up saying.
I think I said 20-13, I think.
I think you did. Somewhere I was like, you think we're going to score 20 points or something like that?
Or was it 2017? I may have said 2017, actually.
Actually, I think that's right because I remember I made fun of you. I was like, there's no way they're scoring 17 points on the number one defense with Snoop Hunt. But yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right on in here. We were correct about the win. Obviously, we were incorrect about the scores. First of all, what's your opinion on the fact that we scored 30 points? The thing that I thought was impossible.
I find it interesting. I'm sure you've seen this, but the last team we scored 30 points on was the Dolphins, and then we scored 30 points again on the Dolphins. But yeah, it was nice, but I think some of that was garbage points. Especially that last touchdown really wasn't needed or necessary. But I'll take it. It's been a while since we scored 30 points. But for the most part, especially I would say 3/4 of the game, are often sputtered and stunk kind of the whole game. So honestly, it was the oddest thing that we ended up scoring 30 points. And I know his safety helped, but I'm still thinking, man, I feel like most of that game, like this offense, both offenses suck, and then somehow we scored 30 points.
It's funny you should say that because that's literally the exact same thing I thought of. I was like, I feel like we have an old, dusty, rusty, crusty offense right now, but we scored 31 points.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened.
I mean, sadly, we didn't score any more touchdowns than we have. Every single game, we've scored 2 touchdowns, all 4 games. But the difference is the field goals because
Nick
I went
Foles
against
did.
you in fantasy football, and Nick Foles with his 20-something points that he gave you helped you cruise on by for a dub.
Yeah, I needed that. But yeah, Nick Foles really helped me.
I said Foles, didn't I? I apologize. I said Nick Foles. I said Nick Foles. I meant Nick Folk.
He's been good. That's the one bright side for the Titans in the last 2 years. He's been good, but the offense though is weird. We scored 30 points, but I still have so many question marks about it. There's still a lot of stuff I don't like. I will say the Titans need to figure out, and I could probably save this later for the video, but I'll just say it now. The Titans need to figure out, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to make the playoffs? Are we trying to win games, make the playoffs? If that's the case, Mason Rudolph is a better quarterback than Will Levis. If the season's just to figure out what Will Levis is, which, by the way, I've already made my decision, and that's he sucks unbelievably if he needs to be gone. If that's your opinion, well, actually, that's not. Let me take a step back. If your opinion on the season is to see what you have in Will Levis, then we need to keep Will Levis in. But Mason Rudolph just gives you a better chance to win. When you have a defense like we have, which is safe to say our defense is really good, right? Wouldn't you say? Other than Malik Willis being the elite quarterback that we know he is, and he lit us up. Other than that, we've been really good. So with a defense like we have, someone that just takes care of the ball, Mason Rudolph, you win games. So he's the best way. Will Levis, because if you look at our defense, Cable, our defense is good in almost every stat except for points allowed is not good, which makes no sense. But the reason why, because Will Levis gives them the ball in short fields or just throws a pick six or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say for some reason, and I think this is stupid, but like pick sixes count against your defense with points allowed.
Yes.
So he's thrown 2 pick sixes, and we've had a punt blocked for a touchdown.
And then he likes to fumble. He gave short fields by doing that.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we technically have the number 1 defense, but
yes,
points. Yeah, you're right. Points like 22nd points just because of special teams
and I'm like, if Mason Rudolph was in, we would be winning more games. I think we'd at least be 2-2, and I think that's been conservative. So, do you agree or disagree with anything I just said?
I kind of agree, but I'll answer your question. I'm sure you didn't watch Ryan Callahan's. I don't remember if this was the post-game interview or the Tuesday, the next day, the day after. They always the day after a game they do an interview, and is what he said was the number 1 thing for this season is trying to figure out Will Levis.
Well, if that's what we're trying to do, then okay, keep Will Levis. But the sad thing as a Titan fan, I just want to see us win some games. And like we won 1 game, and that felt so good. That felt so freaking good. I've been thinking about it all week, and I'm like, man, I want to win some games. And so I'm so tempted. Let's throw Mason Rudolph in. We all know he's not the guy. We all know he's not the future. But man, it felt good to win, and I really just want to win some games. And I want to throw Mason Rudolph out there because when you got Will Levis, you can lose every single game because Colts is a winnable game. And I think with Mason Rudolph, we could definitely win it. But you got a guy like Will Levis who just loves to turn the ball over. Anybody can beat you at any time.
Now, I will say with Will Levis, I am 85% out on him. Like I'm pretty well getting close to being done, which is depressing that we're this way 4 games into the season.
Which I gotta admit, that was impressive. Like I've never seen someone turn the ball over. Like he played how many snaps? I just heard it like 12 snaps. It was something ridiculous, and he found a way to throw a pick. I was like, how do you do that, buddy? Like he can't help himself. And you know what the problem? I remember watching a Titan video during the offseason. It was talking about Will Levis that he kind of it didn't bite him in the butt as much as it should have. But he struggles reading the defenses like pre-snaps and stuff. And 2 of his picks he's thrown was like he had his mind made up who he's going to with the ball. The 1 pick 6 in the Packers game, and then the pick at the Dolphins game. Like he knew who he was throwing to. He didn't read the defense. He just threw it right to him. And you saw Will Levis on the sidelines. You could read his lips. Like I didn't see him. Like he wasn't even looking, for the defense. He just, I'm going here. I can't remember who he's thrown to, but that was just what he.
It was D-Hop, and it was this D-Hop and it was a defensive lineman, which I would say it's dumb they had a big D lineman drop into coverage, but it faked the heck out of Will Levis.
He did not read the defense at all. He sucks so bad. I did not I think someone could suck this much, but he does. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm guilty. Just yesterday, I was looking at quarterbacks in the draft and who would be some sneaky people, and I was already doing that look.
I mean, he has to really turn it around after the bye week if he plans on being the guy in 2026. Yeah. Because now, then this is what I didn't want to happen, and it's not. I said I wanted to know for sure by the end of this season, like, oh, we got something here. Or be like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I didn't want to be like, oh, it was 22 touchdowns, which, if he had a couple more, that'd be nice. And he was 14 interceptions. So if we could just take the interceptions a little bit down, the touchdowns a little bit up, maybe, that's good. That's kind of franchise quarterback-ish. Like, I didn't want to be in that, which is kind of what we were with Marcus Mariota for years.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want him to be this dreadful because, and I know a lot of people, there's never an in-between. People, I feel like either people are like, he's the worst quarterback who's ever played football in the NFL and he needs gone. And there's other people who are like, listen, it's not his fault. It's the offensive line and there's people who make all the excuses. It's just for me. It's just frustrating because we dished out so much money. We dished out so much money this offseason. I think we were the number one team with how much money we spent in the offseason. And the people that we went and got are doing good. Cushenberry has not allowed a sack. Calvin Ridley gets open, whether you throw it to him or not, it's different altogether. But Calvin Ridley gets open. Tony Pollard, he's been our best running back. He's actually been pretty dang good. Then you think about we traded for what's the guy from the Rams we
Snead.
got? Not Snead. He's not from the Rams. The linebacker. Why can't I think of his name?
What is his name?
I feel Ernest Jones. There we go. Sheesh, I felt stupid. Ernest Jones, like he's been playing so good. Snead has been shutting down wide receivers, and Cheeto, and before he got hurt, Cheeto was actually performing really well.
The only thing that scares me with him is I remember you telling me before when we got him that he struggles with injuries, and then he's hurt in training camp, and then he's hurt now, so that might be alarming.
Yeah, that's a little problematic. But like all these people that we're paying big money to are just coming in here and playing so dang good. And it seems like it's all for a waste. Because even if we put Mason Rudolph in, we're going to win 7 games. And that's why that's one of the many reasons I'm out on putting Mason Rudolph in. Put Mason Rudolph in, we win 7 games. Yay. Now we're pick 12. The way I see it, you have to ride with Will Levis this year because either one, he'll prove he is the guy, or 2, he'll prove he's not the guy, which is probably what's going to happen, which means we'll be picking top 7 again.
Yeah, it's just, I guess the problem with me is just, I'm just not ready for another, just after 2 sucky seasons last year, I'm just not ready for this year just to be like, okay, we're going to win 3-4 games and call it a season. It's just,
so you think Rudolph will save our season? We put Rudolph in, will be a...
You know, actually, if you ask me, put a gun to my head, I will say I think we will miss the playoffs with Mason Rudolph, but it will go down to week 16 or 17, where the whole season you're like, oh, you're into it, and every game you're like, we can win this one, and you extend the season. With Will Levis, I think by mid-season we will be definitely 1,000% out of the playoff picture, and then you start like just wanting to lose. It sucks when you're as a fan when you want to lose every game because you want to get a draft pick. I did that the last year, and it was just sucked the fun out of it. When I'm like, what's the point of watching if I want my team to lose? You know, Mason Rudolph will at least have me into every game because I'm like, there's a chance we could win it.
Now I will say there's way too much hype over Mason Rudolph because there are a lot of people who...
All I wanted to do is protect the ball. And he could do that in a much better rate than Will Levis. Honestly, anybody could do that at a better rate than Will Levis. You could go out there and turn the ball over less than Will Levis.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm trying to say. He played 3 quarters and part of the first. He threw for 85 yards.
Yeah,
85 yards. If he does that, if that's how he's going to play, we're only going to win 3 or 4 more games, and that's it.
You want me to be honest, I was not a fan, and I've heard some people talk good about it. I was not a fan of Callahan's play calling during the Dolphins game. So conservative. Like super, super, super conservative.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's just what he needed to do. That's all he had to do. Like if this was a game where the Dolphins had to and they are nipping on our heels the whole time, I think he would have called a completely different game. But he's just like, Snoop Huntley's their 4th quarterback at this point because they've had Tim Boyle, Skylar Thompson, obviously Tua Tagovailoa, however you want to call him. So I really, 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 really think that if any of those guys had been, or not any of those guys, but 2 had been in, that's what they would have done. But they didn't have to. All they needed to do is run the ball. The more times you drop back with Nicholas Petit-Frere in there, the more chances you have of sack fumbles, regardless of which quarterback that is. So I think that's why he called that. If they would have been nipping on our heels and it would have been halfway through the 3rd quarter and we're up 20-16, I do not think he would have just ran the ball over and over and over like he did. It's all he needed to do. Maybe it was like super duper conservative and boring, but in the end, we ended up beating them 31-12. Yeah. So that's why I'm okay with it. Now, there's a chance Will Levis can't go against the Colts. Now, if it's Rudolph the whole game, then I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to be overly happy if he just runs the ball over and over and over again. Now, thankfully, the Colts have a really bad pass defense and a really bad run defense. They have a really bad defense, I guess, the best way to say it.
To be honest, it's only, I'll say this, though. I think I'm going to take the Titans to win going against the Colts. But with Will Levis, to me, there's a bigger chance that we won't win just because there's a chance he'll throw a pick, fumble, shovel pass to defender or something.
It is weird that you don't know which quarterback is going to be on either side, because if Anthony Richardson plays, I think we win. If Joe Flacco plays, I think we
Don't
lose.
they have a very similar situation as us. Is that I think Joe Flacco gives the Colts a better chance to win. I think Mason Rudolph gives us a better chance to win. But both teams kind of want to see what the young guy has,
Who throws a lot of
who
interceptions and
throws
get
a lot
hurt
of
a lot.
interceptions, who I don't think either options are actually going to be the long-term answer, but they're trying to find that out. And I think Joe Flacco and Mason Rudolph, wouldn't that be a flashy, exciting matchup? But both those two gives the teams a better chance to win. But anyway, we're talking about next week. I think we should talk about the Titans and Dolphins more. I just got on a tangent about Will Levis.
Yeah. Will Levis obviously has been very poor. Yeah,
One
let's
thing
put it
I
that way.
did like personally, because I don't nothing against Tony Pollard, but the carries was very more. It was much more split between him and Tajay Spears, and I like that, to be honest.
Yeah, the only issue is he had a horrible. I'm trying to pull it up real quick. Average
Who did Spears?
Spears. Oh, let's see what it is. I think it's like 2. Spears. Oh, I just lied to you through my Oh, it's 2.6. Yeah, no, I didn't lie to you. But yeah, 15 rushes for only 39. But I agree with you. We need to get him more involved, because he has 22 for Pollard, 15 for Spears. That's a better mix, I guess. But I don't know. I wish we could run block better.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think our run blocking is very good at all right now.
It isn't. But
Where's
listen
our
how
pass
depressed we
blocking
sound.
ability? What?
Look how depressed we sound. We just won for the first time this season, and we scored 31 points for the first time over 30 points for the first time in over 1,000 days. We should be excited and happy, but here we are just lamenting about Will Levis. I think the reason I'm upset about Will Levis is I said it all off season long. Either you're standing there with your eyes closed or you're frozen. I couldn't tell. But I said it all off season long. We will go as far as Will Levis takes us, and sadly, he has taken us
Down to the
0-3.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not a fan of Will Levis. I'm kind of done with him. But again, it's all about what do you want the season to be. You want the season to be just to see what you have in Will Levis and you keep him in, even though he's taking you nowhere fast, or if you want to actually have a chance to win. Not even saying Mason Rudolph is great, but he'll protect the ball better. Well, I think you have to admit, Mason Rudolph would have more wins right now than he would than with Will Levis plays,
I think
right?
the only game more that we would have won is the Bears. I think we would have won the Bears games. Let's be honest, Caleb Williams was terrible. Our defense swallowed him up and everything they tried to do. So the Jets, I think we still lose to the Jets and we still lose to the Packers. So I think with Rudolph, the only difference is we possibly would be 2-2.
Either way, doesn't 2-2 sound a lot better than 1-3?
Maybe. But here's the thing. And now this is another big issue I'm at with Will Levis. Will Levis is supposed to have a higher ceiling and a lower floor. Rudolph's right there in the middle. The only problem is we haven't seen many high ceiling
from Will Levis.
Like, he's not even throwing the ball deep.
And another thing why I don't think Will Levis is the guy, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Not just his play, which has, by the way, been horrible, but he can't stay healthy. Right? He got injured, sore back, but he kept playing week 1. And then this week he hurt his shoulder. You know what I mean? So, and he couldn't stay healthy in college. He got hurt in his rookie season. He's been hurt a couple times this year. I mean, he can't stay healthy. So even let's say Will Levis was lighting it up, that in itself would be scaring me with his health.
Yeah, we beat that to death. Plus, let's go ahead and stop talking about Will Levis, because this isn't supposed to be a Will Levis video. This is supposed to be a happy recap of 31 points in our first win of the season. So let's go ahead and slide over to the defense. Let's talk about our defense, which it was number 1 defense after week 1, number 1 defense after week 2, fell all the way to number 6 after Malik Willis torched us. And then after that performance, we're back up to defense number 1. So T-Sweat, you got to talk about T-Sweat. I'll be 100% honest. I was not happy with the pick.
I was pretty mad
because I was like, some mock drafts had T-Sweat falling as low as the 4th round. I was like, why did we pick him 38th overall, which is basically a first round pick? And there's people who wanted to trade up. Why did we stick and pick? but I am not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. And thus far, he has been delivering. Week 1, he was really good. Week 4, he was really good. A little quiet in week 2 and 3,
Yeah.
but
I will
I'll take
say,
it.
he's been good. I still, to be honest, would rather a young receiver. That's what I wanted to go. But I think Sweat's been good. I think the defense has been good. I really do. I think I like the passing defense. I think our run defense is fine. It's definitely the weaker of the defense, part of our defense, but it's fine. I think our outside running is a little worse than our inside running defense. Um, but yeah, our defense is good. I have no problem. The only thing I will say is Caleb Williams, Snoop Huntley. Now, Aaron Rodgers is good, but it's funny, we did good against those, but then Malik Willis let us out. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is we haven't went against the best quarterbacks. I will say that.
Well, we're going to go against a bad quarterback more than likely once we come back from the bye. But where it'll be a good test is back-to-back weeks. We'll go against Jared Goff and Josh Allen. So we'll see how our defense does with handling them. But another guy I'm liking right now is Harold Landry.
Yeah,
He
he's
has
been
now
good.
4 sacks in 4 games.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's easy math tells you he's on pace for 17 sacks. Now, obviously, he's going to more than likely slow down at some point. But that's been nice. That's been real nice. And Jarvis Brownlee Jr. had an extremely good day. I have his stats right here. It says among cornerbacks in week 4, he had an 82.3 PFF grade, which was the 5th highest. He had a 80.4 run defense grade, which is the 2nd highest. 79.2 coverage grade, which was 11th highest. He had 25 coverage snaps, 9 receiving yards allowed.
Yeah, he's been good. He's helped. He's made the Rouzier injury not as painful.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw a thing today. I was reading about Hooker, and that Amani Hooker has been really good this year. That had stats of receivers that he's gone against and how few yards and catches they've gotten. So he's done well. I really like this pass defense. It's really a no-fly zone right now, and that's one like it shocks me. This shows that. Sorry to say this. I know you don't want to bash him anymore, but it shows you how bad Will Levis has been. But in a league that's definitely a passing league, the fact that we have a great passing defense and we're still 1-3 shows how bad our offense has been.
Yeah. It's not just that our offense has been bad. Now, again, we're not going to go Will Levis bashing again, but it's not that our offense has just been bad, but it's been directly giving the other team points.
Yes.
So,
and maybe I've been seeing it wrong. Maybe you have some plays that like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But Diggs been kind of quiet to me. He did have a nice one-headed
Diggs was
pick.
Actually, yeah,
he had a nice one-headed pick in the 2-point.
Yeah, he was actually our highest rated defensive player. He had 92. 92, which 90s are rare. 92-point grade. He was our best defensive graded player.
Do you know why?
I mean, good coverage, 1. 2, remember on that 4th down end around to Tyreek Hill? He smacked him. He just comes zooming in there. And it was a heck of a play. But yeah, he's been good as well. So our safety's good. Corner's great. Devondre Sweat's looking good. Now, if I was trying to be depressing and controversial, I would talk about the fact that I think we should consider, if the right offer comes around. That is correct. Because Jeffrey Simmons is hurt more than he's not. He's either hurt not playing or he's playing through injury. He's quiet in the big moments. And I think most of the time that you're saying his name, especially this year, is because we stopped him on defense, but he does a penalty, which gives him a fresh set of downs.
Well, yeah,
it's very depressing.
He gets smarter as he gets older, but I feel like he's doing more dumb stuff, if you ask me.
I agree.
It's so weird because he just jumped right off the gate, right out of the gate. Really good. Jeffrey Simmons is a Pro Bowl player. We're gonna have him for years, and then it just got quiet all of a sudden. And I can't put my finger on why, but he just last year and this year he's not the same player. And I don't know, maybe his injuries derailing him, but what happened to him? It sucks. I thought Big Jeff Simmons would be such an exciting defensive player for us for a long time.
I agree. And he's only played 1 season where he played all the games. Only 1 season. That was in 2021. He's never even had 9 sacks. Now I know he's interior, so he's not supposed to be known for sacks, but if he's supposed to be all that. And it's one of those situations where he does used to in the past, I feel like he made good plays to go along with his dumb plays. But this year, he's been a nothing burger. He's been an absolute nothing burger. He didn't do anything in week 1. He didn't do anything in week 2. He didn't do anything week 3. He technically got a sack, but that was a coverage sack.
Yeah.
And then week 4, he's out with, guess what? He's hurt again because he seems to get hurt a lot. I prefer personally for him just to be on the field and start playing better, playing like Jeffrey Simmons of old. So I'm not saying I get him out of here now, he's trash, but he's getting paid way too much money to basically do nothing for us besides give the team another set of downs.
I agree. He's been a letdown for sure. Because I remember last year wasn't his best year, probably his worst year. And I'm like, okay, let's see him bounce back this year. But to be honest, I think this year is his worst year.
Well, remember, actually 2022. Remember the back half of the season, he had gotten hurt and was his ankle, I think it was, and he was playing through injury, so he was I won't say useless, but he was not even close to being full potential the last half of the season because he just played with injury. And then 2023, he gets hurt and gets shut down for the last 4 or 5 games, however many it was. And then this year, he's been a nothing burger and then missed another game again. So
he has done a couple penalties, though.
Yeah, he's done some penalties. Got more penalties than sacks. Perfect. But anyways, again, this is supposed to be a happy show, and now we're talking bad about our quarterback, and then our supposed to be leader on defense. So that's never good.
I will say it is a nice win, and I told you that I've been thinking about this win all week. You know, it's nice to get a W for sure, but this team is clearly still a flawed team, and there's still a lot of work for Callahan to do here. And so in this bye, let's regroup, and Callahan needs to figure out what's working, what's not. Will Levis. But I think there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of stuff to point fingers. There's some good, like we've talked about the secondary, great. Sweat, great. You know, there's some good here, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
There is. We got to figure out a way to throw to wide receivers.
Yeah, we don't do that very often.
I feel like DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, and Calvin Ridley are just being completely wasted. Completely wasted. I mean, they're just running routes. They're basically
like those three are too good, especially Ridley and Hopkins, to just be running around like no. Like we can literally have NWI and Traylon Brooks running around like that. You know what I mean? It's like and pay them way less. So like there's no reason, and I'm not even blaming Ridley or Hopkins. I'm blaming Callahan and Will Levis. But
we're not throwing the ball.
Yes, there's this. It makes no sense to have those two and just not be giving the ball. Like, because they can have at the end of the game, you know, be 2 catches for 20 yards, but I'm not even mad at them because I'm not even seeing them mess up. Like, I'm not seeing them getting a chance to do anything.
Yeah, it's just like if it's a pass play, it's gonna be an interception. It's gonna be a drop off to a Tony Pollard, or we'll get sacked. I feel like it's just so very rare that our wide receivers even get targets. They're getting like 2 to 4 targets, maybe not even 4, like 2, 3 targets a game. Yeah. I'm like, Justin Jefferson? We could have Justin Jefferson on one side, Jamar Chase on the other, and it wouldn't even matter. We're not throwing to our wide receivers. And if you look at the all 22, they're wide. A lot of times there's at least somebody who's pretty dang open, and it's just frustrating. And that even went for, I know we didn't ask him to do much, but Mason Rudolph threw 17 balls. He wasn't throwing to, wide open wide receivers either. Yeah. So it's just to me that's frustrating.
I don't get it. I really don't. But again, like I said, we got a bye week, so it's time to figure that out.
I agree. Give you a little breather.
Sit them down and you gotta go over some tape here and figure out why the quarterback's not getting the ball. Because like you said, and I've heard this from several Titan people, receivers are open. We're having some open people. This is not a lack of receivers are not getting separation. This is a quarterback problem. And the fact that receivers are open, it's telling me it may not even be a Callahan problem.
No, which the only good thing about that is that would mean we have wide receivers and get open. We have good coordinator / head coach that can get the people open, scheme them open. We just got to find somebody to deliver it to them. Maybe Kirk Cousins. He was dealing last night, 509 yards.
That was a showdown between Cousins and Baker Mayfield. That was interesting. And again, nobody both of those are basically on the second, third teams, and that was a good game. Makes me wish all offense could score some points, but again, we just scored 31 points. I should lay off. Even though, what do you think? I saw some people didn't like that we went for that last touchdown. What do you think with that?
Well, what were we supposed to do? Kick a field goal?
I guess
it was fourth down. We couldn't kneel it. That doesn't do anything. So I'm for it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be not sportive to score points like that when it's a blowout loss. But again, it's either kick a field goal and score points or just run a play and get a touchdown.
Yeah,
So
I wanted the field goals because I had Nick Folk in my fantasy football, but it didn't matter. I still beat who I was going against.
Yeah, you did. I'm so excited about that. But anyways, so before we get out of here, so we've been rambling for a half hour now. Yeah, I know. Time flies when you're having fun talking about Will Levis. Do you have who's your player of the game?
Good question. And my player of the game would have to be. Okay. It's close here, but I'm gonna go with Tony Pollard. Touchdown, and he had that 40-yard big run.
He had another big one that was called back because of a phantom holding on Cushenberry.
Sweat was close, but I don't think Sweat had quite the plays that you're like, oh, that won us the game right there. So I'm gonna go with Tony Pollard.
I'm gonna go Sweat.
Okay.
Which I don't think is the wrong answer here. When you have a defense that held them to 12 and an offense that scored 31, hard to find wrong answers.
I will say this: the one touchdown by Tajay Spears, that was a good play call. I like that play call.
Yeah, it was. That was a heck of a juke too. He pulled on that one dude.
Yeah, I thought that was a good. Tony Spears can get. He's elusive if he gets the space to do it.
Sadly, it's hard to get space. Our run blocking is not amazing.
What did you say?
Our run blocking isn't amazing.
It's not. But see, that play there gave him that space to do that.
It did. It did.
Well, anyway, that was So I got Spears. You got Sweat.
The good thing about that, it's a second year and a first year player, so we can keep grooming these young players. And JC Latham, who's basically been on fire the last couple of weeks.
I like Latham because he scared me in week 1.
Yeah, he was bad in week 1.
He was, and he looks good. I just wish Peter Skronsky was a little bit better. And I didn't see him mess up as much. I didn't.
Not as much. The problem is he's on the ground all the time.
He is. Every play.
Always on the ground.
I see him getting up every single play. I agree with that. But I wish we had at least 2 people. I'm like, that's future Titan offensive lineman for a long time right there. I like Latham because Cushenberry is good, but we're not gonna have him for 5, 6, 7, 8 years or nothing.
Yeah, I think he's a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then the other right side, we don't want to talk about that, but like Peter Skronsky, can you be a decent guard? If you can be that, then I'm happy. Kinda. He's the 11th overall pick. I don't know if you want 11th overall pick to be a decent guard.
Needs to be a top notch to be 11th overall pick at a guard. But at this point, I would settle for league average because he's been shaky at best. But all right. So now that we pointed out our players of the game and then threw some random shade at poor Peter Skronsker, I guess we'll go ahead. And get out of here. So, is there anything else you want to say?
Nope. Again, just feels good to get a win and tighten up and let's go beat some Colts.
Yeah, tighten up. We'll be back probably next Friday to do a preview of this Colts versus Titans game. Maybe we'll have some information on who the actual quarterback's going to be. So for both teams. So yeah. So that being said, tighten up, like, subscribe, follow, share, whatever you do, just do it all.
And have a good weekend.